Hello boys and girls, and welcome back. This week in art we are creating our own clay and making our own clay project using the clay we made. You can make salt dough clay, you can use Play-Doh, you can use Model Magic, whatever kind of clay you have available to you. We're going to start out by making a pinch pot and adding clay to that pinch pot to make the petals on our sunflower. I have a cup of water, a plastic fork, and a pointed skewer, or you can use a pencil if you have that available. To start, you're going to need 2 pieces of clay, roll them into a ball or a sphere, and you're going to put your thumb in the center and press down, and then your thumb is going to press towards your fingers, and you're going to move the clay around and pinch all the sides around the edges to make a little bowl or cup. Any little cracks that you see on top of your clay pinch pot, you can add a little bit of water to that and rub over those cracks with that little bit of water. A little bit goes a long way, so don't use a lot, just a little. Once you have it nice and smooth, you can press it out a little bit more to create a bigger bowl around the edges. And you might need to go back with a little bit of water to make those edges nice and smooth again. And I'm pressing the bowl to the bottom of the table. I'm using a mat to keep the table nice and clean. And then I'm going to take my pinch pot and I'm going to flip it over and tap, tap, tap so that it makes a nice edge that our petals are going to sit on top of. And I'm going to continue smoothing so that it's nice and smooth around the edge and on the inside and the outside. Any of those little cracks that form, you can just go in with your finger and smooth over them. Now you're going to take your second piece of clay, and I'm going to press this and move it in my hand, press and roll it, so that it becomes a long coil. And then I'm going to place it on the table, and using my hands, I'm going to roll back and forth, place one hand on the side, and roll it with the palm of my hand all the way to the tips of my fingers. And it's going to make a long coil that's going to look like a snake. Make a long snake. I want to make sure that I'm moving my hand all along the coil, not just in one spot. If you just keep it in one spot, only that area will get smaller and thinner. We want the whole thing to get longer and thinner all over. So once it's about 2 hands length, so I'm measuring with the length of my hand, I'm going to take a little piece that's about as big as my thumb, and I'm going to pull that little piece off, and then I'm going to use my fingers to pinch the top and flatten the sides. So it looks like a little teardrop shape. So the top is pointy, the edges are more round, and any cracks I see I can rub with water. Make it come to a point and then smooth over any cracks. I can even take that bottom part and smooth that out. And then we need to do something called scoring. And scoring is just creating little rough edges. So I'm using my plastic fork to make little lines and little marks and scratch into the clay, which is called scoring. And then I need to add a little bit of water. It's kind of like the glue that glues the pieces together. And then I rub over the two spaces to combine them together so that they are stuck and glued on tight and they won't come off. And I even want to do that on the back side, just using my finger to rub the clay together to make it so that it goes from two pieces and turns into just one piece. So now we're going to add petals all the way around, doing this with each piece of our clay, pinching the clay and forming it into a little teardrop to make a little petal, scratching into the clay and called scoring, and then adding some water called slip. And that glues the pieces together and makes it so that they bond together and stick together forever. And then I can add some details, little lines and little dots for the inside of the sunflower. The last thing we're going to do is gently turn our sunflower over. So I have one hand on the top holding it, and I'm going to write my name. So if you have a pencil, this works just fine. And then I'm going to write my teacher's name. So I'm just writing teacher, but I want you to write your teacher's name. And get away all those little fuzzy curls that come off the clay. And if you have a little left over, that's all right. You can make something out of that little extra piece if you want to, or you can throw it away. And there you have a sunflower. You've created a coil and a pinch pot, and you added and subtracted into the clay. I hope you enjoyed creating your own clay and making your sunflower out of the clay that you created. I can't wait to see what you make. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.